Working at Marketlytics, where I am a lead developer. So I manage all the developers in the company as well as the partner in the company. So I started this company with the help of two other friends. Our main goal, our main work is consultancy. We work with startups all over Europe and US, and we help them build products and small solutions. My interaction with computer science started when I was very young. I was 9 years old when I got my first computer. My parents saw my interest. They enrolled me into different courses over here. So I think I was 11 years old when I did my Microsoft Office course. I was 12 when I did my web designing. Since then, I knew that this was something I wanted to do. I wanted to write software. I wanted to make products. I made a few CMS, content management systems, for little things in myself, like managing CDs that I had, stuff like that. So yeah, I've been doing projects like these, and so by the time I got to university, I was so deep into computer science that it was the obvious choice. So if you're looking into becoming a computer scientist, this is what the problem we have seen to date with all our candidates is that they don't start experimenting early enough. For some reason, everybody's waiting for university to get started with their passion, even if they have it. And this is something I would advise people to do, that if you like programming, if you intend to get into computer science or anything related, just start programming. You don't need to reach university now. You have amazing courses available online. I mean, even internally, we use websites like Code Academy and Coursera, which have amazing programs, and you can use those to simply get ahead of the curve. And not only that, it just validates your passion. You enjoy doing this, and at the end of the day, when you're done with the university, when you actually start professional work, you have all the necessary tools that are needed to begin working immediately, rather than getting the training and then stumbling upon a few blocks. I mean, it just makes the process much smoother. As a computer scientist, there are certain things that you definitely need to have in order to become a good programmer. Out of all the things, the most basic one is this knack of problem solving. And the second one, which I think is also very important, is this passion for creating things. And when you combine the two, essentially you become an entrepreneur. I mean, what happens is that you're looking for different problems to solve, and you have the ability to create solutions for them. How I got into entrepreneurship, that's an interesting story as well. So it all started from my second year of my university, where I had this course called Introduction to Entrepreneurship. And when I took that course, I realized that business, which I essentially thought was trading, is not actually just trading. It's a set of very, very complex challenges that come together to form a single entity. I took another module the next year called Mastering Entrepreneurship, and I got it mixed up into the startup scene over there. I joined up with UCL Advances. That was a department at our university which allows us to collaborate with small and medium businesses, essentially startups inside London, and I managed to work on 4 or 5 projects with them. Right after my final year, I joined up with the company and started consulting with the company and startup in US. And I moved over to Silicon Valley for a few months. So there was that energy, that enthusiasm, that motivation over there, that you just wanted to do something. You were constantly looking at people creating their own businesses and getting successful, and there was that vibe over there, and you just wanted to be a part of it. And with all this experience, when I went through the whole process, I realized that if I did this on my own, I could be a freelancer and I could do this the rest of my life. The impact was just too small. my two friends came up to me and they said, hey, let's start this thing, let's start consulting. They were already consulting themselves, so we came together and we started consulting. This is interesting from perspective. If you talk to anyone talking about going back, they'll say, why would you ever want to go back? I mean, you don't have anything over here, especially when you talk about technology companies. I mean, your basic necessity, the internet connection, they're just horrible over here. The situation is improving, but they're still pretty bad. I was looking at a totally different perspective, and this was a perspective given to me by my granduncle, and he told me that Pakistan as a country is a gold mine of opportunity. If you're in Silicon Valley, you are in a developed country. If you're in London, you are in a developed country. They have satisfied all their needs. So any business coming in is either looking to disrupt old ways, or they're looking to improve on something marginally. But if you want real impact, that's when you come back. That's when you come back to your country. When we came back and we started setting up the company, we obviously came across several challenges. One of the main ones that has remained throughout and is still a big challenge is finding good skilled people. We've prepared tests, we have prepared interview questions, specific ones, psychological ones, just trying to determine what kind of personality the other person is so that we can either choose him or not, something like that. The second biggest problem for us is obviously internet. We do from time to time get disconnected, even during our conference calls, which is kind of embarrassing, but it's something that you have to deal with here. Recently enough, we got this new gadget which allows us to combine connections that in case one fails, other takes up. So you have to think of stuff like that. So electricity is another big problem in Pakistan, and everybody knows about the power outages all the time here. And if you're a technology company, that's a big problem because, well, you work on laptops, and if you don't have electricity, your laptops don't work. We hire people from Pakistan, actually from Karachi only. And we've hired people from different universities, University of Karachi, NED. One of the things that's important for us when we're looking for people to join is that they should have a passion for computer science. We always look for people with this passion, and we always hire fresh graduates because we've found that we've hired people with experience and they were just not compatible with us, because over here we have this culture in Pakistan where you're instead of you finding the solution for the problem, you're given the solution. So you never learn to think. And that, I feel, is once you get into that habit, it's very hard to break. So that's why we target fresh graduates, where we're just more or less like a blank slate at that point, and they have some basic knowledge of computer science, and then we take them in. We train them to think on their own, to take problems and then break them into smaller problems and then solve them. So that's our main goal here. And then over time, over a few months, then they're able to handle their own projects like this. So startup scene in Pakistan is growing, and it's growing really fast. And this is not in Pakistan, it's happening all over the world. There's a lot of stuff happening, and within Karachi, you've seen over the last few months, several new incubators have come up. There are multiple programs that organizations like Pasha are bringing up, and they're all focused for small businesses or people with ideas to come forward and start up their new thing. That said, starting a business is not easy. The one thing that you need most, and that is especially in Pakistan, is persistence. One of my favorite successes, more recent successes, is Park Wheels. It started off by a guy from started it. So, and this guy has worked on it for several years. I mean, this wasn't an overnight success. So it was just a website when he started off, but then he built it, he marketed it, he worked really hard, and now he has his own team that works on the website, and he's now growing it as a platform for selling cars. In fact, I bought my own car from there. Failure is inevitable in startups. That you will find dozens of quotes from really great entrepreneurs saying that execution is the hardest part, and even a single mistake can cause a total failure. And if you fail, that's not a sign that things have come to an end. There are multiple ways to get out of it. You can read about pivoting, that's moving into a different product, or you can change your idea, start on something totally new. One of the challenges in going in a different direction, I think, is going to be investment. And I think right now, capital is a bit hard to acquire. I mean, of course, this is a developing country. Capital is already tight in the country. However, it's not impossible. There are many programs right now currently working towards giving startups an opportunity. And yeah, if you keep at it, you can do it. If you're working in a software house and if you work there for several years, there's always that hard limit you can reach, and the progress is going to be slow. After 5 years, you'll be earning somewhere around 450,000 max. I mean, if you're really, really lucky. Most people don't even make it to 300, 400. That's like the best scenario for a developer working in a software house. Entrepreneurs is totally different. It's very dynamic. If you have a successful business, there is no capping the amount of money you could earn. But then again, I will focus on this, that you're not doing this to earn more money. You're doing this because you have a passion to start. You have a passion to solve a problem. Normally, if you start off your own business here in Pakistan, the first few years are crucial, and they're very hard. One would expect a very low salary or no salary in most cases. Once you've built a product, once people are using it and they love it and it's selling, that's the point where you start getting the rewards. That is the point where the difference between doing a job and starting your own business, they start coming up really obvious.